The U.S. Secretary of War is currently being grilled by lawmakers in a congressional hearing on the Pentagon's budget request amid the Iran war. Pete Hegseth began with an opening statement praising the President Trump and the war in Iran. Take a look.
And speaking of warfighting, the topic of Iran, I'm sure will come up today, which I very much welcome discussing. I look forward to sharing the incredible successes of our military, achieved in a matter of weeks. President Trump, unlike other presidents, has had the courage to ensure Iran never gets a nuclear weapon, and he's ironclad in that. We have the best negotiator in the world driving that deal. The biggest challenge, the biggest adversary we face at this point are the reckless, feckless, and defeatist words of congressional Democrats and some Republicans 2 months in, I remind you, 2 months in to a conflict.
The committee, however, has raised several questions on the feasibility of the war, along with Donald Trump's claims on talks with Iran. Lawmakers also said how the war cost the country an estimated $25 billion. Listen in.
The president keeps telling us that it's over. What was it, a week ago Friday, the president announced that Iran had agreed to give up their nuclear program, to give up their ballistic missile program, to stop support for terrorist groups, to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The only problem with that is literally none of that was true. He was completely making it up. It wasn't. Iran hadn't even agreed to meet with us, as became embarrassingly clear as the day spun out and poor J.D. Vance had to keep going back and forth to the airport. We never even had a meeting. So wish fulfillment is not really a strategy. I mean, maybe the president thinks he's doing some sort of Jedi mind trick and can tell Iran, you will give up your nuclear weapons, and they automatically will. But that's not working. So what we need to hear today is what is going to work.
All right, let me go across to my colleague and our correspondent, Susan Tehrani. She's joining us live from New York at the moment. Susan, quite a heated to and fro going on at the moment as you and I speak. Get us the latest of what's happening in this hearing.
So this hearing started with concern about the cost of war and some legitimate questions moving forward about the Trump administration and the Pentagon's strategy when it comes to Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. However, it quickly, as it does, turned into a back and forth with both sides hoping to get political points and favors from the American public, who's very war-weary, watching this hearing. The headache for the Trump administration right now is this hearing is timely for the Democrats because it is completely tied to the economy and the cost of living. And President Trump's poll numbers are going down just because gas prices are so high, for example, and is tied to this war. However, while Democrats think that this is a win, the concern there that this might be a little disingenuous is every single person that is questioning Pete Hegseth and General Kane on the war is on record when asked if Iran should have a nuclear weapon, saying absolutely not. They even voted against President Obama's JCPOA, which ended up just becoming a plan of action. That was the reason for that. So while the Democrats are trying to gain political points and, of course, raising some serious questions, at the end of the day, you have to wonder whether or not this is just merely for those political points, or are they really concerned about the direction that this war is going?
All right, Susan, thanks very much for joining us at the moment and getting us more on this particular hearing.